My name is Meghan Goode. I'm the pastor of Albany Mennonite Church in Albany, Oregon. I also have a blog, mudpiegod.com, which is a blog exploring Anabaptist hermeneutics and also just focused on reading scripture in living ways. When I think about the kingdom, what I think about first is sort of God's design or God's dream for the world. There was a design woven into creation, a creation kingdom design, where God gets God's way, and it's amazing. So when I think about sort of living the kingdom or belonging to the kingdom as a Christian, I think about recapturing the dream of God, learning to dream God's dream with Him, and then learning to live that dream together as a community. When I think about the relationship between the kingdom and the church, I would say the church are people as participants in that kingdom, but the story is bigger than us. We are one part of an intricate creation, and the kingdom itself involves the whole of God's creativity and God's design, all of creation itself and the universe as it is caught up into that dream. So the church has a special role as those in the image of God, rulers, authorized rulers in God's name in creation, but the domain of God extends far beyond us, and we are servants of that domain in a really frighteningly powerful way sometimes, for good or for ill. I think what excites me most about the kingdom movement is best captured in the word imagination. That God is sort of reforming a new imagination in us, and we have a chance to participate in a world that has been radically designed by a new imagination. I happen to be a fan of science fiction and fantasy novels, in part because I love their depiction of alternative views of reality. And we humans have such a constrained view of what reality can be and what the possibilities are. And thinking about Christianity in the language of the kingdom says the possibilities are wider than we've imagined and more incredible than we've imagined. And if we're willing to sort of believe that those possibilities are real possibilities, that when God has a dream, that dream can really happen, and that the Spirit gives us power. I spent a lot of time in my own sort of vocational discernment journey processing whether I would be a theologian or a pastor. And I think in retrospect, now that I've been in ministry, that was somewhat wasted time because I've become more and more convinced they are not different things, or they shouldn't be. And the fact that they've become such sort of different categories of vocation in the church is a cause for concern. Pastoral work is a constant work of fluid theology. Every day presents questions that are very integrative. It's never purely a textual question or purely a life question, but how does the life of God and the life of the Spirit and the imagination of the kingdom intersect in the real context in which we live and work and make real small practical choices? So to be a pastor is to be in sort of integrative theologian in the fullest sense. And I would say from the other side, maybe this is my call to the theologians in the church, but we need theologians who are pastoral in their thinking, who understand that ideas about God are never just ideas about God. They're ways that people are meant to be formed into sort of living images. And that gives practical implication to their work, but that work is for the purpose of that practice of intimacy with God and with each other. And I think the church would be well served if those two sort of vocational streams were reimagined as the church moves forward together as one job, not theology academy and pastor church, but one and the same thing. The idea serving the life of the people of God within the life of God.